Hey, how y'all doing? This is Corky on a kind of a rainy afternoon. Uh, this video is about tuning a guitar and keeping your friends. Uh, some of you will laugh at this video, but we really have, during the digital age, produced some artists and people that, when they communicate with the public on social media and other things, you can't live with them because they know too much. They think they know it all, uh, and they've got it correct, you know, and it's caused a lot of people to be angry. Um, Back in the day, again, the old man talking. Uh, Nothing was available on your TV except maybe seeing the cream on Smothers Brothers, or maybe seeing uh, you know Joan Baez on CBS or something like that. Um, you say, what's this got to do with guitar tuning? Well, I do a lot of videos on social music, and that's kind of the what I'm talking about here today. Because if you want to learn an instrument, uh, you're going to have to be able to, uh, make yourself available to somebody to help you and someone to mentor you. Uh, Stephen Grossman tells stories about going to Reverend Gary Davis's house and all of that relationship that there is between a guitar instructor, a guitar instructor and a student. And these great people who know all the tricks, and know all the licks and everything, uh, most of them didn't get them from books. They got them from watching other people. And then if you don't know what they're doing, and there's a lot of that today, in other words, kind of wears me out, the way that a guy like Billy Strings will come through, and he's on every video now. And I think he's a good guitar player. He really is. But people like him because they don't know what he's doing. They don't like him because he helps them do what he does. So this is what I've told some of my mentors. I hang out with a lot of old men older than myself, even today. And I'm 71. And my thing was, I don't want what you have. I want to do what you do. And that's what I always told. I told my wife's granddad that, because he started 13 churches with like a Green Army tent or something, and he would go somewhere out in the country, North Carolina, and he would, resurrect a church that was about to close the doors. And then sometimes he'd call me and he would say, "Here, come up and take this thing. You come up and be the pastor of this thing, because I'm going to Siler City, or I'm going somewhere else." And I told him, I said, "I don't want what you have. I want to do what you do." And this is an attitude that you need to develop, to become friends with people who have the stuff. Okay, I had a horrible experience. I had a greatest experience of my life. Was being able to travel through the Amazon jungle, and with a friend, and we met thousands of people in Peru, from Lima all the way to the first tributary, I think. And so we were way out in the jungle in Peru. We had walked in the mud for, felt like a whole day to get there. There'd been a storm, and it was dark, and you could see one light bulb top of a hill. And we walked toward that light bulb, and we heard the people singing, and it was a dirt floor and a tabernacle there. And I was there to preach and everything. And so Uh, there were maybe a couple hundred people in there, but they came bringing me a guitar. And friends, you think your guitar is hard to play, or you think your guitar is not in good shape, or we talk and laugh about Willie Nelson's trigger. And we need to pray for Willie because he's probably really sick right now. But we laugh about that guitar. But there's a certain pride in a man, being able to pick up a bad guitar and play it. Now, this is not a bad guitar. It's not the best guitar, but it's not a bad one. It's my daughter's Yamaha, a Yamaha F310. That's why I've got it right now. And the strings are not new on it. I don't change strings real often. So anyway, back to Peru. They handed me this guitar, and it had some nylon strings on it. Not surprising in Latin America and everything. And I just started playing it. And I wouldn't say I was able to get it in tune before I started playing. But I wasn't going to stand there and make them wait a long time. And I played the thing for whatever I did. I think I tried to play El Condor Pasa. It's an old Simon Garfunkel song that is the #2 national anthem of Peru. And so I think I played that, but, it sounded like crap. I mean, really. And they were all smiling, They might not have a house, Latin America, but they have a smile. And so I learned a big lesson about just being nice to people when you come in. This is that's a capo. Did I bring a digital tuner? No, I might not have my tune. Yeah, here it is. This is a digital tuner. And all the fellows, when they come in the house for lessons and all, they all get that and they put it on and, and tune to it. And it's the thing, it's got and your videos are on real time. So you have no problem with tuning. The problem may just be with your ear. I didn't tune this guitar before I did this video because, well, there's nobody in the room with me but you on the screen. And so I don't need to tune to anybody or to anything. My low E, I know it's out because I had a capo on it before I picked it up just now. When you have a capo on there and it presses down, then when you release the capo, you got a string out. Usually it's your low E. You said, well, mine has, perfect tuning and action. I mean, I had Ron the Don, worked on my guitar and it's perfect and it's perfect tune. And y'all just need to relax. You need to take 2 Tylenols and sit down and start over because everybody's dealing with what they're dealing with. And a lot of times on a good guitar, now I have great guitar, but that's not the one I'm holding. Some of y'all are spoiled with these great guitars and these showpieces that you stick under the bed and you ain't even playing guitar. Shame, shame, shame on you. See, that's out. That's something that you can do is do a harmonic on the fifth fret, and then the next string is on the 7th. And when the wave flattens out, you're in tune. See, that's close enough for me. Pretty good. Then go up here to the 7th fret on the low E for the B. That's all right. So, what's it sound like? I could pretty much live with that. I was in Rhode Island, living in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, on Quidneck Island. Uh, and a buddy of mine from Massachusetts said, "Hey, let's go up to Boston. There's a bluegrass scene," which I already knew there was a bluegrass scene in Boston. He said, "Bring your mandolin and let's go up there and let's jam with these bluegrass." But he's a banjo player. And so that sounds good. So we went up there and we came to this house, and they didn't welcome us in. They were already up and running and playing in the living room. It was kind of funny. There's a woman there singing, and in New England, you know, they have a particular accent. But when they sing bluegrass, they imitate the accent of the people in the American South, just like the Beatles did. You know, you may have a British accent, you may have a Yankee accent, but you know, you try to talk like Southern person when you're doing music, and it was kind of funny to see that shift that they made when they would go from drinking coffee to singing a song. You know. And so we went. I wasn't going to stop them and say, "Okay, hey everybody, I got my tuner here. We're going to get in tune. Are you in tune? Are you in perfect tune? And I think your G's out," and all that. And that would they would send me back. You know, they would be like, "Get him out of here." So I went in the kitchen, and I didn't have a great mandolin. I don't like I do now. I got a great one, but I had a good one then. I've been playing that one since 1973, and I've loaned it to a fella, and I can't get it back. So I need to get it back. I've had that same mandolin since 1973. So I went in the kitchen to tune. I could hear him in the living room, and I got as best as I could, all right, before I walked in the room. And once I walked in the room, you know, I was able to get some chords, some I wasn't. But when they would hit that G chord, then I would know whether I was in tune or not. Because the G chord, and that's the way I play one, and if you're going to learn from me, you got to play that one and not that. I don't want to see that one. Except and Take It Easy. You might do it. That's one song I allow that G. Everything else is here, so you can do all that. And then doing banjos, if you remember what that sounded like, he was not playing this G. He was not going. He was going. Which meant he was going to keep that low G in there as he hit that C. It's the amen of the gospel music. And so, anyway, that G, I would tune to that G, and the mandolin top string is G, second one D, okay? That's what we call external tuning. In other words, you're going to match your guitar, or you're going to begin to do that with the external source. Maybe this tuner is the external source. Maybe it'll be like when I learned guitar, putting Rubber Soul on, and when I've just seen a face when the Beatles did this. All right, and I've just seen a face, the intro, I would know that's where most of my strings were. And then from there, I'm going to tune internally. And internally means that my guitar, every string in it is in tune in relation to the other strings on this instrument. How many of y'all know that you can tune to an external source, like a digital tuner? You can tune to it, and it's saying on the needle that it's perfect. Then when you hit a chord, it don't sound right. All right, what that means is your guitar has certain imperfections in it, that maybe a warp neck, or maybe, you know, some little situation there. And so you have to split the difference. So what you do is you tune to an external source. It can only be one or two strings, and then you tune internally to itself, or like the old way. You've seen that kind of tuning, matching one string to another. Now, on the Indian sitar, this is serious business because you're dealing with 13 strings. So, I tune externally to the what do you call it? The tempura, which is the drone, and I get my my top four strings to it, and then my fifth one, I have to imagine it because it's a four, not a one, and then all 13 of the no, all eight I think it is of the synthetic strings I have to match to the others. So it's like 25% of the tuning on sitar is to an external source, and the rest of them I just have to get my instrument in tune with itself internally. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but now when you're a solo artist, you say, well, it doesn't matter because it's just me, get my guitar sounding good. But what if somebody walks up and wants to sit in with you? Okay, so if they are worth their salt, then they're going to sit down and say, hit your G chord right quick, and then you're going to go. And then they're going to go internally and get it done. And you still got a friend, right? Okay, so this is kind of people online don't even think about these things anymore, hardly, because if their guitar is in perfect tune with the computer, then they don't have time for anybody else saying anything else. So, but if you want to keep your friends and get your guitar in tune, you got to learn how to do it in these different ways. It'll build your ear where you can hear it. And don't go telling somebody that, oh, your D's out, because if you listen to this old blues music from the Delta down here in Mississippi, which I'm all over that Delta these days, those guitars sounded bad, all right? But that music changed the world. So it's not the end of the world if you've got a rough guitar, because in my mind, you always need to be playing a rough guitar. It just makes sense because the general public can't afford these show pieces. So anyway, for whatever that's worth, that's how to tune a guitar and keep your friends. Love you guys. See you.